What advantages do different intelligences have? These intelligences determine how a human behaves and is able to perform various tasks.
Intelligence. Let's talk about it.
These intelligences give people the skills and abilities they need to survive in this world. Without them, a human would be powerless and helpless, like a lifeless robot. Hello! In this video, we will talk about cognitive intelligence versus emotional intelligence versus cultural intelligence. Is one of these types of intelligences better than the others? The answer is a resounding no.
Emotional empathy means you feel how the other person feels. Cognitive empathy means you understand how they see the world.
Cognitive intelligence is actually an ability of a person to properly process, comprehend, and manipulate information, or simply, the capacity to learn. When we talk about cognitive intelligence, it mainly refers to the mental ability of a human to understand through thinking, experience, or senses. This intelligence gives a human the ability to solve various kinds of problems, even if they are unrelated to their prior expertise. IQ is used to estimate a person's level of intelligence, usually measured by IQ assessments, which have been contested for being inherently culturally biased. Nonetheless, cognitive intelligence also includes things such as learning, memory, reasoning, and judgment. Howard Gardner was the person who came up with a theory about cognitive intelligence. It is also considered general intelligence, which is really essential for a human being to adapt and survive. Now, to explain it a little better, I will give some examples of cognitive skills: critical thinking and problem solving, languages. 3. Communication skills. Next, we have emotional intelligence. Our capacity to recognize, use, comprehend, regulate, and manage emotions is referred to as emotional intelligence. There are 4 different levels of emotional intelligence: perceiving emotions, reasoning with emotions, understanding emotions, and managing emotions. It also has 3 different models. 1. Ability model. 2. Mixed model. 3. Trait model. Some experts contend that emotional intelligence may be learned and improved, while others think that a person simply has a certain amount of it at birth. We are able to comprehend others, experience emotions, and react to them because of our emotional intelligence. Reports have revealed that emotional intelligence is as important as cognitive intelligence. There is no proof that there is a causal connection, but research suggests that those with high EQ have greater leadership skills, better mental health, and better job performance. EQ is commonly associated with empathy, since it calls for a person to relate their own experiences to those of others. Now, let me tell you what makes emotional intelligence so important. EQ allows you to build stronger relationships with others, as well as perform better at work and school, which allows you to reach professional and personal goals. Not only that, but it also helps a person to make informed decisions, which leads to greater success. You'll be able to identify your strengths and weaknesses. You can either seek out input from others or attempt to identify your abilities. When a student has EQ, they can deal with negative emotions better than others. Students are more likely to persevere and complete high school and college if they have emotional intelligence-related abilities, such as stress management. Additionally, they will be more socially adept. There are many ways to improve your EQ. Number 1. Self-management. A person needs to learn how to consciously and productively control their behaviors, emotions, and thought patterns. I mean, it is obvious when a person is stressed and loses control over themselves and their emotions. However, there are many ways through which one can improve their self-management skills. Some of them include discovering your strengths and working from there, learning how to prioritize and set goals, reducing or eliminating multitasking, and focusing on what's in your control as opposed to what you cannot control. Number 2, self-awareness. Another way to improve your EQ is to learn how to manage your stress. Self-awareness is super important because you need to be able to connect to your emotions properly so you can understand how emotions influence your thoughts and actions. A common way to improve self-awareness is by meditating. If a person is genuinely willing to put in the work, they can gain self-awareness in many different ways. It can be accomplished by paying attention to yourself and observing how you behave in different situations. Perhaps taking a personality test will highlight your strengths. Another thing that could be helpful would be keeping a notebook in which you identify the emotions you experience in daily situations. Number 3, social awareness. One can acquire social awareness by paying close attention to others and observing them. Make sure you're actively listening to people when they're speaking or doing something. When you do this, you'll be able to learn about their emotional states and triggers and how they respond in various scenarios, which will help you understand what's going on with them and, in turn, how to react. When it comes to social awareness, it allows you to understand and identify the nonverbal cues that people use to communicate with you. If you are looking to improve your social awareness, you should pay attention to the tone of voice and try to notice all the details. This will help you to become more socially aware. Number 4, relationship management. Improving EQ means knowing how to manage your relationships. There are a variety of steps you can take to sharpen your relationship building skills. For example, you could work on becoming a better listener and providing people with your undivided attention.
And without listening clearly, you can't have empathy.
Moreover, setting clear boundaries and expectations are a necessity to make sure that all parties involved are on the same page from the start. Lastly, ask questions and keep track of what people tell you. Everyone appreciates an open space for communication in which what gets shared is valued and retained.
Now, I hope that video was helpful. Learning that there are 4 different types of intelligence. I know I only showed cognitive and emotional. I'll go ahead and show the other 2 after I get done with my little spiel. Okay? Now that we know that there's 4 different types of intelligence and that someone may be more intelligent in one area than another. Well, for me, example, I have a very strong cognitive intelligence, right? And I struggle with my emotional intelligence. That is what bipolar disorder is. It is someone struggling with their emotional intelligence on how they're able to regulate themselves, how they're able to understand emotions and socialize, right? So as we know, just because someone has cognitive intelligence does not mean that they have social emotional intelligence. And because of the profession that I have developed a skill set to manage my poor emotion regulation. But it doesn't mean that I don't have poor emotion regulation. It just means that I have a toolbox, a set of coping skills that help me mask mine in a sense, or get through my challenges day to day, where people may misconstrue that I actually have a disability, because I do my best to make sure that it doesn't spill out on you. It does not mean that disability is not there. It means I work really hard. Okay? So it's important for you to understand the difference, at least if you're going to be my follower, at least if you're going to be someone that socializes with me and gets to know me, that there is a strong difference between my cognitive intelligence and my emotional intelligence. And then we learned that cognitive just really is being able to manipulate a set of tasks, right? That cognitively, can you do this? But emotional intelligence is something completely different. And it's important that the world understands this to me, because people will assume because I have cognitive intelligence that I should not struggle with my emotional intelligence, when my emotional intelligence is a problem because of the chemical imbalance in my body and in my brain, in addition to the PTSD. So yes, I have cognitive abilities, but I also have emotional impairments. So it's important to understand, though I know how to do the coping skills, sometimes I may not want to. And the emotional disorder may win some days. But the days that it don't, and I be kicking ass, I get shit done.
Cultural intelligence. Differences in culture go beyond questions of race, nation, and religion. Cultural intelligence is the capacity for recognizing and adjusting to one's environment and culture. There are 4 components of cultural intelligence. 1. Knowledge. 2. Strategic thinking. 3. Motivation. 4. Behavior. Many of us work in companies with younger or older employees who have very different cultural norms, presumptions, and attitudes than we do. Even within the same organization, cultural differences between teams and departments may exist. All of this suggests that we need to develop our capacity to comprehend and interact with a range of cultural norms. In this case, the cultural quotient, or CQ, comes into play. In today's world, diversity is present everywhere. So it is necessary to have cultural intelligence in this era because it helps bridge the divides and the gaps that are present in an institution or an organization. Not only that, but when you embrace the various cultures and their viewpoints, it broadens your vision and helps in driving innovation. It also improves your decision-making skills and leads to higher productivity. Studies and reports have revealed that there's a positive correlation present between the CQ and EQ, while EQ and IQ support each other in different ways. While they are individually great skills to cultivate, together they are powerful in creating a transformational learning environment. That is a wrap on this video. We hope you liked it, and if you did, make sure to press the like button.